Are you the kind of person who points at menus to be understood while you read abroad? If so, you're not alone and you do fit in well in the UK. Research out this week suggested more than half of UK people do the same, and nearly as many are embarrassed by their lack of language skills. Some 15% of people even admitted they had spoken English in a foreign accent in a vain attempt to be understood, a la footballer Joey Barton a few years back. But the Brits are in the minority in this regard. It's estimated that 60 to 75% of people around the world are at least bilingual, and in some places it's the norm to speak 3 or 4 languages without blinking an eye. To meet some polyglots speakers of multiple languages, I went to the part of the BBC in London where its language services are produced: radio, TV and online. These colleagues have grown up in places where speaking up to 6 languages is normal. Mr. Nshimiyimana actually has a couple more languages on his list, but wouldn't he let me count them separately because they're similar. His languages have been useful to his career. He was sent to Iraq when war broke out there, because he could report in English for the BBC's English language TV programs, in French for BBC Afrique, in Kiswahili for BBC Swahili, and in Kinyarwanda for BBC Great Lakes. He also speaks Flemish, having lived in Belgium, and Mashi, having lived in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. His tips for anyone wanting to learn are, would that it were always that simple. He acknowledges he's got a talent. I think I have got a facility to speak languages, he says. Wherever I go I immediately start learning the language of the local people. Mohamed Susilo was born on Java Island, so his mother tongue is Javanese, which is spoken by nearly 100 million people. Like most Indonesians, he speaks the national language Bahasa too. And we had our conversation in English. Why can you only speak 3 languages? I asked, tongue-in-cheek. Well, I am lazy, he replied. He can read the Quran in Arabic, but although he used to speak it, he has lost the ability over time, something he was so upset by. For aspiring polyglots, his tip is to start as soon as possible. If you learn a language in the early stage of your life, it's better, he said. When you're older you have too many things in your head. Like Indonesia, Kenya has many local languages. Well, they get called local. The one Imsmunoko learned at home, Laya, is spoken by millions of people. She speaks the Marigali dialect her mum spoke and the Bukasa dialect spoken by her dad. She also speaks English and Kiswahili, the country's 2 official languages, and she learned Kikuyu while working as a journalist in an area where it was spoken. Sometimes you go to areas where people will express themselves better in the native language, so it will be better to speak to them in that than in Kiswahili, she said. Mrs. Barua speaks English and Bengali and understands Hindi, a lingua franca in India. In Bangladesh, people learn Hindi through children's TV and Bollywood films, she said, and many literary classics are published in English, so if you want to learn a language, find something you like about its culture and immerse yourself in it. Mr. Singh Atul speaks English, his mother tongue Punjabi, Hindi, and Urdu. The latter 2 are very similar in speech but written in different scripts. He grew up in Delhi, so didn't he have much opportunity outside the house to speak Punjabi, a language spoken mostly in northern India and Pakistan. But both his parents spoke it, so he learned it at home. I am not unusual, he insisted. Well, maybe not in India. In the UK, he is well above average.